Jessica is asleep in her room when a faint boom sound wakes her up. She's in a dim room as the morning sun starts to show. Confused, she looks out her window to find out where the noise came from. She searches her home but finds nothing odd. Her sleep now spoiled, she starts her day. The city is not yet awake, but all the car alarms go off for no clear reason. Jessica is in Colombia mainly for her sister Karen, who is in a hospital. Sitting next to Karen's bed, Jessica waits as Karen sleeps. She looks frail and weak. They have a short chat when Karen wakes up again, but she goes back to sleep due to her medical condition. Later, at a university cafe, Jessica meets Juan, a poet and her sister's husband. They get along well. Juan is a known author, and Jessica has translated his work into English. She talks about the weird noise she heard. Juan doesn't know anything about it and thinks it might be the stress of moving to a new place. They chat about poetry, and he gives her new work to translate. Juan suggests that she talks to a guy named Hernan from the music department who might help her understand the strange sound. On her way home, more odd things happen. Jessica has a deep connection with her surroundings and loves to take long walks. Jessica walks past a bus that makes a loud noise from its exhaust, startling a man who seems really scared. In Colombia, sudden and heavy storms are common. Yet Jessica can't shake off the mysterious boom sound that stays in her mind. She goes to the university's music department. A talk on musical instruments is going on. Many students are there. She finds Hernan, who is very focused on his work. She introduces herself as Juan's friend and waits for him to finish what he's doing. Hernan knows about Jessica's issue with the strange noise and thinks he might help. They stand before a big sound mixer as Hernan tries to help her figure out what the noise could be. At this point, the quest to pinpoint the exact sound gets intriguing. Jessica tries to describe it, saying it resembles a metal ball smacking hard ground, maybe with a slight hint of water splashing. Hernan shares his collection of musical sounds, hoping she would identify something similar. Although Jessica isn't a music fan, she's oddly accurate at describing sounds. Despite her belief that she's not doing a good job, Hernan gets what she's trying to say and plays a sound close to what she heard. This somehow makes Jessica unfocused, and she's not sure why. Back at the hospital, Jessica gazes out the window. She watches people go by, not focusing on anything in particular. Eventually, she finds a quiet corner to have coffee. Her peaceful moment is broken by Agnes, a woman in a white coat who appears to work there. Agnes is an archaeologist investigating human bones found in a new tunnel construction site. The bones have baffled both the builders and the Colombian army, who had no clue to whom these bones belong or when they got there. Having some spare time, Jessica decides to wander around the city. She spends a little time in a library, visits a museum, and wraps up her day strolling back home, soaking up Colombia's fresh air. Her life seems uneventful, the most exciting part being a stray dog that decides to follow her. But she enjoys this slow pace. However, her evening takes a twist when she hears the mysterious noise again. Nobody else seems to hear it, which both confuses and unsettles her. Later, she's sitting near a statue on the university grounds, lost in thought, when Hernan shows up. He has a piece of music he wants her to hear. She's not too keen but listens out of politeness. Conversation comes easy between them, and Hernan ends up tagging along as she runs some errands. Despite being away from her orchid farm, Jessica wants to continue her work in Colombia. She needs a specialized fridge for her flowers. Hernan suggests they check out some models in a neighboring city. The outing goes surprisingly well. Later, she joins her sister Karen and Swan for dinner. Karen looks better, and they chat about her improving health. While deeply engaged in conversation at dinner with Karen, Juan, and their young son, Jessica is jolted by the eerie sound she has been hearing lately. This time, it sounds like a heavy knock on an ancient wooden door, repeated 3 times. She tries to stay in the conversation, but she's clearly disturbed. No one else seems to have heard the noise, making her even more unsettled. The next day, she goes to the university's music department to find Hernan, as he'd offered to accompany her to a nearby town. Oddly, no one there seems to know who Hernan is, despite one having recommended him. Finding him absent, she decides to proceed alone. Her journey is smooth but interrupted by a roadblock due to excavation work in a tunnel. She eventually arrives and meets up with Agnes in the town square. They engage in casual conversation, but that's about it. The following day, still anxious about the strange noises, Jessica consults a doctor. Despite complaining of poor sleep and hearing the bizarre noises, the doctor doesn't prescribe any medication. She suggests that Jessica might become addicted and instead recommends changing her pillows and seeking spiritual solace in the Word of God for peace and understanding. Confused and disappointed, Jessica leaves the doctor's office and decides to walk by a creek surrounded by lush greenery. However, her moment of tranquility is shattered when she hears the mysterious sound again. Just then, she meets a middle-aged man who is cleaning some fish by the river. At first, she's unsure whether to approach him, but he greets her warmly, and they strike up a conversation. Interestingly, the man seems to know Jessica and where she's staying in town. He seems friendly and offers her a seat. Their conversation flows naturally as they discuss their contrasting lifestyles. He lives in harmony with nature, while she's more accustomed to city life. He talks about the incredible power of nature and the vibrations and energies present in it, concepts foreign to Jessica. She can't fathom living without urban conveniences like watching soccer games or TV. He assures her that the natural world gives him everything he needs and wants. Feeling more at ease now, Jessica asks if he has a drink to share as they sit by his makeshift table. She gulps down the drink quickly, feeling it burn her throat. She says her name is Jessica, and he replies that he's Hernan. This stops her for a moment. They continue to chat, and Hernan talks about the local wildlife and how connected he feels to everything around him. When it's her turn to speak, Jessica tells him about the weird noise she's been hearing lately. Hernan listens attentively. She admits that the sound has been getting louder and more frequent, but strangely, she wants to hear more of it. Curiously, Jessica asks Hernan if he remembers his dreams. He tells her that his kind doesn't dream. This seems intriguing but not alarming to her. She then asks what it feels like to just switch off in sleep like he does. Hernan promptly lies down on the grass under a big tree and falls asleep. What's strange is that he stops breathing while his eyes remain half open. She observes him closely, wondering what it feels like to be so detached. Eventually, Hernan wakes up. Jessica isn't shocked by what she has just witnessed and asks him what it feels like to seemingly not be alive for that time. He struggles to find the words but says it's like he stopped existing. This leaves Jessica with a mix of sadness and fascination, but for Hernan, it's just another day. They go back into Hernan's modest, aged house, which strangely feels familiar to Jessica. She identifies some of the furniture and the view from the window. While they continue to drink, Jessica starts sharing vivid but fragmented images, memories of hiding under an old bed covered by a blue blanket, feeling afraid because people were coming for her and her family. She describes how her mother found her there, her hand clenched in terror, and led her back to bed. As she pours out these memories, Hernan completes them, saying he also woke up that night and needed to go to the bathroom but couldn't leave the bed. Hernan explains that those memories are his, stored within him, even though he can't visualize them. In a stunning revelation, he tells her she acts like an antenna, receiving these memories because he can't process them himself. "Why are you crying?" "Those memories aren't yours," Hernan asks. Jessica talks about the mysterious noise once again, and takes his hand as if to find some sort of connection or understanding through it. Jessica feels an even stronger connection to Hernan as they continue to share experiences. With each passing moment, she feels like she's solving a mysterious puzzle made of fragmented memories. Hernan confirms that the puzzling noise she's been hearing is real, but it comes from a time long before either of them existed. Suddenly, Jessica hears the sound of heavy rain, but when she looks outside, the sun is shining and the sky is clear. Both of them now hear voices arguing outside the house in a language she can't understand. It reminds her of a past incident about someone eating another's food because it looked tasty, but she can't place when or where it happened. The argument outside stops, replaced by the haunting noise that Jessica has been hearing, But now she understands it's not the sound of rain. It's the sound of ocean waves. Amidst the noise, she hears children laughing in the distance and the waves getting louder. She only picks up one word from the ongoing argument outside, Hernan's name. The noise continues until it's interrupted by a sudden, loud crash. Completely shocked, Jessica lets go of Hernan's hand, severing the connection that let her hear and see his memories. She goes to the window, opens it, and hears the same mysterious sounds drawing nearer. The intervals between each noise get shorter, and this brings a smile to Jessica's face. As the noise gets louder, she notices something like smoke or clouds rising from the trees. Then she sees a ship of some sort emerge from the woods, making the same loud noise repeatedly. In an instant, the ship zooms away, leaving a cloudy ring behind. People from Hernan's village, as well as construction workers from a nearby tunnel, seem to have heard or seen something. Jessica disappears just as the noise fades away. Hernan hears on the radio about a soon-to-erupt volcano and newly discovered ancient human bones in a nearby tunnel. The bones have unusual markings that can't yet be identified. Feeling a sudden, painful headache, Hernan looks out over the mountains, now hidden by a dense layer of clouds. Birds fly away as though warning of an approaching storm,